Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to talk Start Collecting Conquest, Last Argument of Kings by Parabellum War Games, and today we're going to take a look at how we can start a Nords army in Conquest with the one-player starter set. Now this is a great place to get started to begin with. You get a bunch of models and you get some core rulebooks and some other useful information as well. And what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk about all the units in the box set in the video, talk about what the units in the box set originally that we get, what they all do on the table and what we can use them for, and then we'll look at a bunch of other units we can use to bring into the force to create a 1,000 point army list at the end of the video for you to work towards and get inspired to create your own Conquest Last Argument of Kings army on the tabletop. So with that all said, let's start talking about what comes in the one-player starter set. For starters, we get a character, and the character model we get in this is called Jarl. He is a medium infantry class character, and he's got some cool things. He's got a volley of 2, clash of 3, 5 attacks, 4 wounds, resolve, and defense of 3, so pretty solid stuff all around. He has barrage 4 at 12 inch with his shooting, and then he's also got throwing weapons as well, which is really nice. This means he effectively gets to inflict impact hits regardless of his type. He's infantry, normally wouldn't inflict impact hits. His supremacy ability, Surprise Attack, allows him, while this character stand is on the battlefield, all enemy regiments have the reinforcement roll modified by -1, where a roll of a 1 is always a success. This supremacy ability is always considered to be active, so you can get your units on the table that much quicker. Now he's got access to a bunch of different items being a character available to him, but the most important thing is what his mainstay and restricted units are, because this is going to sort of focus on how we talk about the rest of the video. First of all, we get a couple of, well in fact, all 3 of our units inside this box set are all mainstay. The Huskarls, the Raiders, and the Uga. We also have Ulfhendar, which will be a mainstay unit, and restricted units are Berserkers, Blade Chosen, and the Mountain Jotnar. A pretty solid hero to start off a Nord's force with. He's definitely going to push you more towards the mortal side of the army. Now talking about units, first of all we have the Uga. These are a medium brute unit. They've got the Oblivious rule, which is really nice. It's going to allow them some extra bonuses in the form of every time they have to take a morale check, they only ever suffer. Regiments with this special rule receive 1 wound for every 2 failed morale tests, so they have to suffer more failed morale checks at the end of combat in order to lose extra models. Cleave 2 and Feelers on top of that, with the access to standard bearers, which is pretty nice, is a pretty solid unit all round. Uga do hit fairly hard. Clash 3, 4 attacks, 4 wounds, you know, with Cleave 2 on there is really solid. We then have Raiders, of which we get 24, so you could easily build this as a couple of units if you want, or indeed in one larger unit of Raiders. They don't have supporting attacks, so they're not necessarily the best thing in larger size units. Flurry is a really cool rule, that they have meaning they get to reroll all failed hit rolls when performing clash actions, and throwing weapons once again allow them to cause impact hits. They've got access to quite a variety of different command models, including a shield binder and captain on top of the leader and standard bearer. Lastly, we have Huskarls. These are a more elite unit, an infantry medium unit we have access to. They've got shields and throwing weapons. So where the Raiders are much more offensive, these guys are a bit more defensive. With a base defense of 2 on top of their shield, if they're fighting in that front arc, they'll have defense of 3. You can take a skull or a thing as some additional character leader options or upgrades for the unit. Clash of 3 on them as well, with 1 attack, 1 wound. They're not too shabby. But where do we look to after this? And so, where do we look to after this? Firstly, I recommend taking a look at the Mountain Jotnar. First of all, he is an amazingly cool model, a big, nice centerpiece for your Nord's force, but also he's a restricted unit, so he's not actually going to break out of the force we've already got. He would be a great first addition to your force. Now, he's got 12 attacks, 14 wounds, Resolve 3, Defense 3, Cleave 2, and Terrifying 1. All pretty solid stuff. He is a heavy class monster, meaning he's doing impact hits when he charges, which is really nice. He's just solid. Go out, do a ton of damage, and takes a decent amount to take down. Defense 3 on a monster is really nice. Now, if we were to look at other characters to support, I think a Shaman is a really good shout. A reason for a Shaman as well is that Raiders are a mainstay unit for the Shaman. In fact, they're the only mainstay unit Shamans have access to. He's going to give you access to magic so you can learn the rules of magic within the game of Conquest Last Night of Kings, but also you can just add him straight in and just split your Raiders into 2 units and instantly be able to use that model without having to buy any extra units. You could just pick this guy up and add him straight in and just sort of shuffle your models around into 2 units of Raiders, and wham, you've got this model ready. He's a Priest 5. He's got a Supremacy ability called Cool the Storm, where this character regiment is on the battlefield. You choose 1 friendly regiment per round, currently not on the table, and after rolling for reinforcements to gain the Vanguard special rule. This obviously allows them to come in straight away. He's got some other cool things. He has Berserkers and Ulfhendar as his 2 restricted units, so he does have a couple of different units, not an awful lot. This is generally a common thing with wizards. And he's got knows all the spells listed below, which are Blurred Vision, Mistweave, and Reshape Destiny, giving him a good pool of spells to call from. Now, if we are going to look at some other models to bring in, what I really like about Conquest is the different types of champion models or unit upgrades that we can buy for our models, and there's 2 available for the Raiders, which I think are particularly cool. First of all is the Shield Biter, and so while the Shield Biter is alive, the regiment can add 2 to its charge rolls. In addition, any character in the regiment has +1 attack when fighting a dual action, so it makes your, probably at this point, your Jarl better. And then you've also got the option to bring a captain in. Captains allow, when a regiment with a captain is called to make a reinforcement roll, before making the roll, you can choose to change its class to 1 class heavier, e.g. medium instead of light. This allows you to keep them off the board till later, for the rest of the battle and for all games purposes as well. In addition, while your captain is alive, any character in your regiment has +1 cash when fighting a dual action, and you increase the regiment's resolve characteristic by 1. So you're boosting that regiment of those Raiders up to a nice 3. But also, if you've got both the Shield Biter and Captain, you've got +1 attack and another bonus in there from the Captain as well is going to give you +1 clash. So you're going to be getting more attacks and hitting better. So pretty solid couple of upgrades for your unit of Raiders. And so here we have a sample 1,000 point army list for you for your Nords. Now for starters, we've got our Jarl. He's been selected as our Warlord for the Force, and he's a pretty solid Warlord. So we've gone for giving him the bear aspect, which is really nice. This is just going to give him +1 attack. So pretty solid there. This is going to pump him up to 6 attacks base. And then we've also gone to give him Vinder the Dancer, which is a special weapon he can take. For every 2 hits rounding up scored by the character during a clash or dual action, you roll an additional dice and add any successful hits to the total number of hits. These additional hits do not generate further, but this is pretty cool. We've got 6. Hopefully we can get an extra 2 hits, or potentially even 3 if we can get everything to hit, if we can get 5 or 6 hits out of that. Not to mention, with talking about our Raiders, we've got the Captain and the Shield Biter in there, giving him an extra clash and an extra attack, meaning he will have 7 attacks in there if he's going into a duel, which is really solid, meaning he's going to potentially have the option to generate an extra 4 hits. He could potentially do 11 hits in a duel if everything goes through. It's a really cool, nice little offensive sort of challenging character, a dueling character, if you will, that'll go around trying to get as many duels as he can. The Raiders, as we said, we've got 3 stands with a Captain, Shield Biter, Leader, and Standard Bearer, and then we've got the Huskarls with a Leader and Standard Bearer, Uga with a Leader, and the Mountain Jotnar in there as well. We then have a Shaman as our other character option we've taken. He's going to have his retinue of 3 stands of Raiders with a Standard Bearer and Leader, but the Shaman himself as well has gone with the Arcane Trove Find of Runes of Wisdom, which will allow him once per game, the character stand may roll 2 extra dice when performing a spellcasting action. You must declare this before you actually roll any dice for that spellcasting action though. So once per game, he can try and make sure he gets one of his spells off to really get the most out of it. This is a pretty solid starter force for the Nords. In all honesty, you've got 2 characters, 2 light regiments, 2 medium regiments, and a heavy regiment. Remembering a lot of this can potentially automatically come on or get benefits to come on the table. Really solid stuff, or even potentially delay itself coming on the table thanks to the captain in the Raiders unit, which will probably contain our Jarl as well. That's where we'd stick him and the Shaman joining his own Raiders. So the 2 units of Raiders would be our offensive units. Huskars would probably stick back. We've got the Uga and Mount Jotnar to be some nice independent heavy hitters as well. All in all, a solid little starter Nord force. If you've been enjoying the Nords in Conquest Last Argument of Kings, let us know what you've been doing and let us know what you would add to this down in the comments below. Well, that's the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below and let us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine community here at Sinful Gaming, you can do so by following the link in the video's description to our Discord server. And lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so either via Patreon or YouTube members, and both of those are linked again down in the video's description. As a special thanks to all our Patreon and YouTube members, I'd like to give a shout out to them all. So a special thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, James Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Dynet226 and Derek. And a special shout out to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Vinny, Lockloric, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Shelf, Ariana Airwoods, and Sean Scott. Lastly, a special thanks, first of all, to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for our channel, and to Xmorphic, who does all the amazing Discord server background work for us. Thank you all for watching. Once again, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.